Welcome to Parlay Power Hour for September 17, 2021. I am your host, Tanner Kern. I'm joined by my co-host, Grant Mitchell. Me and Grant were just fighting off camera. We'll not tell you why, but Grant, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today. It's Friday, TGIF. And you know what I've done, Tanner? You should be proud of me. I've gotten ahead in my schoolwork and my work. So today I'm pretty much a free bird.
How are you going to win a blog off? All right, so we were talking anyways. We'll talk about the blog off. We won't talk about the running race. But if we did a blog off, answer this question, comments, if you're watching on replay, if you're watching it live right now, answer this question. If you stick me and Grant in a room for 24 hours, who's going to write more words? Who has more grit? Who has more grit? That's the question.
The question was who could be the first to 100,000 words.
That was over a week. No, that was your contest. My contest was stick us in a room for 24 hours and see who can write the most words.
So well, I mean, at a certain point, like it can't just be regurgitation. Like it has to be decent stuff too, you know?
Well, we'd have a judge too, obviously. This isn't fucking JV, Grant. This is Parlay Power Hour. We don't mess around here.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like personally, and I mean, I'm not saying you don't do this, but I just know myself personally, I spend a lot of time looking up numbers and stuff like that. So, I mean, if we're just spitting stuff out, then I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a shit show.
I mean, I do numbers. I think you probably do more numbers. I do more like, telling the people what they want to hear, sort of. That's kind of my thing.
You create the narrative.
Yeah, I create the narrative around it because Grant, you know what? The people don't want the picks.
The people need the picks, Tanner. You got it right. You got your own catchphrase right.
Damn right. Okay, the Yankees are trash. This is what we're starting with. We're not starting with our Caesars ad read. We're starting with the Yankees are trash. Grant,
is this between the lines?
Why am I wearing an Orioles jersey on a Friday morning when the Orioles are coming to Fenway Park tonight, Grant? Why?
Because they just beat the Yankees.
Because they just beat the fucking Yankees, Grant. That's why. Shout out to the Orioles. Shout out to Trey Mancini. All those guys. Love you. You're going to get your ass kicked tonight, but that's what it is. Caesar Sportsbook, Sports 20 RF, risk-free bet up to $5,000 here. Lock it up right now. Links in the description below, guys. Place $100 in cumulative NFL wagers by September 30th. That's like 2 more weeks. $150 gift card to NFLshop.com. So make sure you get that going. Best hour of your day. Obviously, subscribe to the network. That's a given. And let's get into it. Grant, Bengals, money line versus Bears, plus 114. We do football bets on Friday, guys, so make sure you tune in for that.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get too overwhelmed by the Joe Burrow hype. I mean, he's playing pretty great. As a rookie, he was up near 300 yards per game before that season-ending ACL surgery. The Bengals looked pretty good, I would say, in week 1. I mean, there were varying levels of expectations for them. It really depended on if you were a Burrow fan or not. For those who don't know, the Bengals ended up beating the Minnesota Vikings in week 1 in overtime, 27-24. It seemed a little closer, or excuse me, the final score seems a little closer than it was. Bengals had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. And then they kind of choked a little bit, and that's what the Bengals are going to do because they're not a great team, but neither are the Chicago Bears. I think their head coach Matt Nagy, I think he has promise, but I think he's gone after this year. As long as you've got Andy Dalton back there, I don't have a lot of faith. And we saw that in their week 1 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Excuse me. They put Andy Dalton in there not to make mistakes, knowing he wouldn't make a bunch of big plays, and he made mistakes. So, I mean, there's not a huge upside to having him back there. I think Burrow is significantly better than him at this point. Bears defense is better than the Bengals defense, but it's not going to be enough to slow down Burrow. Bengals should be able to get this one done.
Yeah, I like this bet. I mean, and you know what, with Matt Nagy too, just talking about him in general, he would keep his job probably another year if he started Justin Fields full-time, because you could at least say, you could validate the losses. Like, we have a rookie quarterback. He's got the Red Rocket back there who absolutely is trash. When's Justin Fields going to take over? I recommend that Justin Fields takes over full-time very soon, Matt Nagy, if you want a job moving forward. All right, Grant, baseball time. Padres money line, plus 124. Why do you think I'm taking this, Grant?
Well, I mean, the Padres, I don't want to spoil too much of your thunder, but they looked pretty impressive in that division rivalry series. But, I mean, that's what we expect from them.
Yeah, well, they split with the Giants. But here's the thing about this game, Grant. The Padres play in the National League West, and the Cardinals play in the National League Central. So if you stick the Padres in the National League Central, they would win that division with ease. Might have a little trouble with the Brew Crew. I still think they get through the Brew Crew if they have decent pitching. But when we look at this game, the Cardinals came out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere to get back into the mix. They are no longer legit, though, because the Padres are coming for their ass. This is a huge series. Nobody thought the series would mean anything at the beginning of the season. It actually means something. Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, got to step up, got to make plays here. Vince Velasquez going is not throwing inning yet with the Padres, coming from Philadelphia, not throwing inning with the Padres, so we'll see how that goes. But Miles Mikolas going for the Cardinals, 5.47 ERA. This is a guy that the Padres can take advantage of. But the bottom line is when the Padres play 38 games against the Dodgers and the Giants, that's going to pay off when you play against teams like the Cardinals. Padres money line plus 124 is a great bet tonight with a lot of value.
Definitely a lot of value for a team that, at one point you could have been argued the best team in baseball. They've sort of hovered around that top 5 spot for most of the season. They have fallen out of that recently, but they have the ceiling and the high ceiling, and they can get really hot. Personally, for me, if I was betting on this game, I would bet on the over. Feels like both these teams have been scoring a lot, and the pitchers are pretty terrible, statistically speaking. Velasquez, like you said, he hasn't even thrown an inning yet for the Padres. His counterpart, only 26 innings thrown, so I don't want to throw too much shade at them, but they haven't been that good. I don't want to say the Cardinals aren't legit. They've won 5 in a row. They've won 7 of their last 8. But I, too, would favor the Padres. I think it might be a little closer than you're selling, though.
I wouldn't say they're not legit, but if you took the Padres and the Cardinals and put them in a 7-game series, the Padres are going to win the series. Like, there's just no doubt about it. All right, Grant. Padres are better than the Cardinals. That's what it comes down to. And nowhere. And if you think the Cardinals are better than the Padres, that's a problem. There is a problem with that. Even though, you look, they have the same record or basically the same record. They're 1 game back, Padres, I think, in the wild card. But you look at it, it's like when you play 38 games against the Dodgers and Giants and you have one of the best records in baseball behind the Dodgers and Giants, you're a pretty good baseball team. That's what it comes down to. All right, Grant, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, money line. I'll let you break this one down for me. I'm still sick of the Patriots' loss to the Dolphins.
Yeah, so this is our risk-free bet for the week, plus 156. You're getting really good odds on this one here. The Bills lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1. I want to say they allowed either 14 or 17 fourth-quarter points. I could be wrong on that one, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the two. The thing about the Bills is that they have become totally reliant upon Josh Allen. They asked him to throw the ball over 50 times in week 1, which was kind of ridiculous because their running game was doing pretty well. They were averaging 5 or 6 yards a carry. Tanner, you played football. If you're getting 5 or 6 yards a carry, what do? You just keep running the freaking ball.
Every play.
Yeah, especially when you're at home. I just pulled it up. It was 17 points they allowed to the Steelers in the fourth quarter. So that's a bit of a collapse there. The Miami Dolphins are one of the hardest teams to play against. Brian Flores is probably the second best defensive head coach in football. Bill Belichick, you would have to say, is number 1, obviously. Josh Allen struggled against the Dolphins the last time they played. He threw him a couple turnovers here. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was in week 1, but I also just don't understand the MVP hype for Josh Allen. If you look at his college numbers, they were good. Obviously he was a top 10 draft pick, but they weren't overwhelmingly special. Really, aside from last year, the only excellent year he had was his senior year of high school. So if this guy's played 2 good years of football in his life, at a high level, if we're saying high school is the beginning of the high level, saying he's already an MVP candidate for this season, I get he had a great season last year, but I think we just need to pump the brakes a little bit. And the Dolphins here at plus 156 and at home, I think the Dolphins are hard to play against. So if you're giving me them on the money line, I think this is a pretty sneaky bet that could come through.
Yeah, this is probably one of my best upset picks for the NFL Week 2 slate. I do like Buffalo in this game overall. I think Josh Allen's a good quarterback. I think his big hands and his big arm made him a first-round draft pick, but I still think he can ball. Dolphins didn't really impress me offensively against the Patriots. Tua didn't look that good by any means. But like you said, defense wins championships. Brian Flores shut down Josh Allen. It's possible. Plus 156, good risk bet here. And then finally, our lock. Grant, guess what day it is?
I know what day it is.
Don't
Question
say
is,
it.
does everyone watching know what day it is?
It's Walker freaking Bueller Day, G Money. Dodgers, Reds. This is another thing. Like the Reds think they're in the mix. Like the Reds. Let me think I'm going to say this. Every team in the National League wild card race literally told the Reds, "Hey, you guys go take the wild card," and they just never did it. They've teetered back and forth. Now they've let the Cardinals climb back in the mix. The Padres are still right there. They got a series against the Dodgers. This is their toughest series remaining. They're going to get their ass kicked in this game, in the series. I wouldn't say this game for sure, though. I mean, Walker Bueller's on the mound, 14-3, 2.32 ERA, the future of baseball, 186 innings, 189 strikeouts. He commands the zone. He doesn't give up the long ball. He doesn't walk people. He's just that good, G-Money. He is that good. He was a Cy Young candidate until freaking Max Scherzer came in and just said, "I'm going to be the best pitcher in baseball." But when we look at Walker Bueller, he absolutely shuts down the Reds tonight. The Dodgers offense is clicking. It's firing on all cylinders. Grant, I got a stat for you right now. They have covered this margin. They have covered 1.5 in their past 4 games. They're 5-0 in their past 5. Let me get the full number up for you. And then they have not lost. They have not lost since September 10th. They're coming off 2 series sweeps.
Yeah, series sweeps over the Diamondbacks and over the Padres. Dodgers have been cooking. I don't think that's going to change today. Bueller is going against Luis Castillo. You know what's interesting about him? He has a 4.24 ERA. I mean, not good or not great, but not terrible.
No,
he has a 7-15 record. And this is on a team that could end up being in the wild card. That just kind of messes with my head a little bit, He has a decent ERA on a decent team, and he's 7-15. It's just kind of funny. But I mean, I don't know if that's a sign of things to come, or it's just lack of luck. But the Dodgers should have no troubles covering this spread. Like you said, they're not only 5-0 in their last 5; they've won 6 straight. They had those 2 sweeps. The Reds are not exactly a team you throw out there to slow down the Dodgers when they're hot. So this should be. I know you hate this one, Tanner, but this should be easy money.
This should be easy money. There's no such thing as easy money in sports betting, Grant. I will say that. But when we look at this game, Grant, if the Dodgers cannot beat the Reds, they cannot cover against the Reds with Walker Bueller on the mound, there is a problem. When we look at this game, we look at the whole National League. There shouldn't be a wild card game in the National League. There really shouldn't be. There should be some rule when the first place wild card team is a million games ahead of the second place wild card team. There should not be a wild card game. And as much as I love the 1-game playoff, I don't care. There shouldn't be a wild card game. Dodgers, Giants, first round. Let's go. All right, Grant. Final thoughts. Give it to me.
Final thoughts. I don't want to repeat and talk about my Hokies going to Morgantown because, I mean, I've talked about that one before. You know what my final thought is going to be, Tanner? I really hope that the Red Sox beat the Orioles because if they don't, I'm going to torture you all weekend long.
Well, realistically, it should be a sweep. It should be a sweep. We got a 7-10 game tonight. Got 1-10 tomorrow, 1-10 on Sunday. It should be a sweep. My Saturday night will be ruined if they lose on Saturday. If they were going to lose one, I'm going to see them on Sunday. I might go tonight. If they're going to lose one game, I don't want it. I don't want them to lose at all, Grant. They're not going to lose because the Red Sox are the best team in baseball and they're going to the World Series.
Have you ever looked out your window and just started yelling at Fenway behind you?
No, I have not done that yet. I'm not that loud. But when I
open up the window and start screaming obscenities at them.
No, I've almost broke my TV a few times. I've done that, but no, I've not opened the window and just screamed to the players. If I did, there'd be some days where I'm really angry. But you know what? That's what the fans are about. They gotta love that. Like it's you look at Javi Baez, right? Putting the thumbs down, right? Like
your favorite guy.
Yeah, you look at Javi. All right. You're getting paid to play baseball. The guys that like boo you pay your salary. They pay your contract. They buy booze at the game. The alcohol pays these guys salary when they're selling Bud Lights for $15, and they're gonna boo the players. Like no, the least thing about the Red Sox is they take the booze, they take the cheers. That's what this city's about. That's what championship baseball is about, Grant. We're gonna win a freaking World Series. Just watch it happen. See,
you're doing so well until the end there. Then you ruined everything you said.
I should be a motivational speaker. That's what I should be.
Oh God, people would quit their jobs because of you.
Yeah, and I would tell them go live their dream, Grant. Go live their dream and watch their team win the World Series, just like the Red Sox are going to do today. Grant, my final thought is: Do you think that this jersey is bad juju for the game?
It is absolutely a questionable decision because I get you're celebrating them. You know what time is the game?
7:10. I gotta take it off right after this.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you take it off by noon, then I think you're okay.
Yeah, and I'm not. I told people I'm not like I made this clear in MLB Daily Picks. I'm like I'm not wearing this because like I support the Orioles tonight by any means. I'm supporting the Orioles beating the Yankees, who are trash. That's my.
You're thanking them.
I'm thanking them. I'm thanking them for their service. And you know what? They probably should have won 2 or 3, but whatever.
Did you see Cedric Mullins' catch at the wall?
Yeah, nasty. I saw it on the Orioles Instagram. I was like, that was nasty. It was a big series because like they got thrown out. The grounds crew.
The grounds crew.
That would only happen in a freaking Yankees Orioles game. The grounds crew getting thrown out. But yeah, so it was a good series. The Yankees are trash. Red Sox probably sweep the Orioles this weekend, so I'm very excited about that. Go Red Sox. One thumb, one finger, one pinky, all love. See you next week for another edition of Parlay Power Hour.